We spend so much of our lives jaded. Michael Pollan said it best. What is banality and boredom except techniques that the educated mind employs against experience so that it can get through the day without being continually exhaustingly astonished? Essentially, jadedness, banality, and boredom are defense mechanisms, in some ways necessary repressions of our full sensitivities and sensibilities. To be fully awake, to be fully open, is to be vulnerable in a way that is beyond fragility. It is to be willing to be overwhelmed and torn apart. I had a moment of radical openness and suggestibility. I was listening to a playlist of some of the most beautiful songs, the kind of songs that I normally don't listen to because they make me cry, and I played them one after another, and I sat there with the feeling. I could feel the melody patterning my memories, coiling out of me. I could just feel the stream of consciousness, the film inside my head being scored by the music, being conjured by the music. Feelings I would normally run away from, sensations I would normally put under the rug. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want this sadness and this longing and this emptiness and this grieving feeling of loss. To be acquainted with love, to be acquainted with gratitude, is to be acquainted with sadness and loss. The existential bummer is transience. We love so deeply. We hug so tightly. We long so desperately. To be alive is to be in a state of anguish. To be fully alive, blissed out, and in gratitude is to ultimately become incredibly well acquainted with loss. This is the conundrum of the human condition. Finite beings who dream of immortality. Finite beings who are starved for the infinite. Feelings of grace are ultimately feelings of acceptance, when all contradictions are reconciled and man has surpassed the gods. And I suppose I've had a few moments of grace and bliss and gratitude, but I think ultimately nobody gets out alive and nobody gets out without scars. And I think I have my set of scars. I've been burned in love. I've grieved. I've lost. I've held loss. I've cradled in the fetal position with my feelings of loss. I've cried myself into a reverie of melancholy, purged in consummation with the cosmos. I miss every girl I've ever broken up with. I grieve for what could have been and might have been and should have been. If only. Like that radio song that says, I wish I could be who you wanted. We carry our wounds, we carry our battle scars, we move on. What other choice do we have? It was a sad day to remember what I forgot. How much I've buried under the rug. Like all of us, I suppose. Repression is a fundamental necessity if we are to move about the world with some kind of equanimity and agency and volition. Look, the human construct is a necessary set of illusions. Even our sense of control is a necessary delusion, a hallucination that we require in order to stay sane. I get it. But once in a while, like the movie, what's the name of that film? One of these magnificent, it's a Terrence Malick film, Tree of Life, okay? The trailer of Tree of Life. The sweeping score plays and one of the characters goes in voiceover, one day we'll fall down and weep. We'll understand it all. All things. And that's what today felt like. Ecstatic surrender, bereavement, grieving, death and rebirth cascading Oh my God. Not something you want to have every day, but once in a while as a kind of purge, I suppose. But as Dylan Thomas said, I refuse to surrender. I will not accept. At the end of the day, I cling to my quote, do not go gentle into that good night, but rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light.